Should you retrain the brain or flip the brain switch? Which one is it? Because there is a difference between those two, and I would like you to know more about it. And if this flips or evokes something in you, I would love to know. So please use the comments below to let me know more about your own thoughts so we can all enrich each other. So, here, what this is all about, right? In our time, in our era, people use a lot this phrase when it comes to talk about improving our lives, getting outcomes, breaking out of habits, reducing anxiety, getting out of chronic pain, no matter what, developing a skill. They use this notion of retraining the brain, and it has become a catchy phrase. And actually, this phrase is true because it is based on actual neuroscience. The question is it the complete story or there is more? So, there is something more, and this is flipping brain switches. Now, what do I mean by that, right? So, the problem with retraining your brain is that sometimes it can be a slow process. We can do it more efficiently, we can do it less efficiently, but it can be a slow process. I mean, if you think about it, everything retrains your brain. Like, walking in the sun retrains your brain, and if you do it long enough, your brain gets retrained. Traditional therapy retrains your brain, and if you keep going for 5 years, yes, you will feel better. But I guess we want something faster, right? So here is the key, right? How do we get results in a more efficient way when we want changes in our life? I think a guiding principle we should have and we should be thinking about is about flipping brain switches. So, if there have been moments in your life, where suddenly you had like a perception shift, like suddenly something changed and you were like, whoa, I cannot think about this thing the same way I used to think about it before, right? Have you had moments like this in your life? I think to some degree we all have, right? And even if we don't think out loud, like, oh, I cannot think of the same thing the same way I used to think about it before, or I cannot keep doing what I was doing, even if these are not our thoughts exactly, we may get an intuition, a feeling that is a bit like that tells us that from now on, we will do things differently. From now on, we will experience differently. So, then this is a moment in our lives that a switch in our mind just flipped, and we suddenly realize things differently. So, as I've said elsewhere, right, all therapy and coaching is based in human experience, and we can find these elements we use in therapy and coaching in actual human experience in the wild, if you want this expression. So, but what happens in this moment when it's like a switch flips in our brain, right? The special thing that happens in these moments, no matter what circumstances this may be, it may be, overcoming chronic pain. It would be maybe stopping smoking. It may be, ending a relationship with a friend. It doesn't matter. It's There are these moments all around us. It may be leaving an old job and deciding to change careers, right? It's a moment where we suddenly are like, up to here. Now things change, and they do. So somehow in these moments there is, if you want, a sense of magic in these moments, right? That there is this sudden shift of perspective in our experience, in our minds, because many things have accumulated and they align together and they lead to this cumulative effect, to this cumulative moment. That's how this happens. Different aspects of our experience, which were scattered, suddenly they are aligned, and like a laser beam, points in a single direction that make us change our choices and how we feel, how we perceive, how we experience, even at a sensory level, even at a decision level. Now, this is the key then. Because when we work with people, when we want to give people faster results, right? It's not just about retraining their brains. And when you want to get faster results yourself, it's not about retraining your brain. It's about aligning different aspects of your own experience with your goals and the outcomes you want to have. And we can do this to an extent ourselves, right? By just becoming aware and noticing and pulling the pieces together. And of course, with an expert guidance and interaction with someone else, we can do this much faster. So that's how we can guide and help people flip switches in their brains according to the goals they have, with expert guidance and interaction that aligns aspects of our experience that happen, but we are not typically aware of. I see this, I see this in my sessions all the time. Like people will do something and they will skip it and they will ignore it, and that's an important thing. And when we align it with everything else that's happening, then they start things start to change, and then brain switches start flipping. It's more than retraining the brain. So, and of course, I want to be clear here, right? Because sometimes these ideas, like there are these phrases also like, oh, like do everything in heal in 10 minutes, heal in 30 seconds, heal in 10 seconds, heal all your past traumas in a fraction of a second. And this is ridiculous. Yes, when we use principles that are around, flipping my switches in our minds, in our brains, then changes happen much, much faster. Then changes don't take years. Changes happen faster, and our life improves faster. And yes, in some cases, for some people, this can be very, very fast, can be in a single session. Sometimes it can be in half an hour. Yes, this can happen. This is a possibility. But is it for everyone like that in half an hour or in a single session? No, it isn't for everyone, but it is faster for everyone. And the way we do that is by using elements of gamification of the experience. That's one of the key aspects. Perhaps we can talk about it more in another video. If you're interested, just let me know if you're interested to talk about gamifying our experience. It's something I would love to talk about. Leave something in the comment. Yes, I want gamification of the experience to know more about. So, going back to this, right? Again, yes, sometimes people can break habits like smoking or can overcome chronic pain in a single session when we follow these principles. And this is possible. But for other people, it takes longer. And there are various elements there. Part of it is like there is an element of what kind of flexibility has someone developed through their own life experiences in being able to flip switches in their brain. That plays a role, no matter the facilitation an expert may be doing for you. What flexibility you have developed in your life also plays a role in how easily changes happen when you visit someone. And that's why in another video I said, right, like give yourself permission in everyday life to experience differently, because healing doesn't just come from therapy, it comes from experience. And another thing is, of course, it's the type of issue that someone may be dealing with that affects how fast we may get something, like if there are many layers, if there are many tendrils on something. And we can't know that in advance. No one can know that in advance, right? We just have to explore and see. But no matter what, so, and sometimes, right, we have to work with people and we have to work a bit together and create the conditions for the brain switches to flip. And we could call this as a brain retraining process that help us facilitate brain switching. But that's the thing. Our guiding principle, our guiding goal is flipping the brain switch. It's not endless retraining of the brain till the end. We want to retrain till the point when we notice something can flip, something can change, something can switch. And then we help someone switch it. We help them do it themselves. And then this can help the rest of the brain retraining better versus following a brain retraining process from the beginning to the end that is devoid of the elements of alignment in the person's unique experience. That's the key difference. Bringing in alignment elements from a person's unique experience. So, flipping the brain switch. It's a key principle. I'm curious, like some of you, maybe facilitating for others. Some of you may be facilitating for yourselves, or even want to facilitate for yourselves. So if you think moments where in your life where like things kind of came together like pieces of a puzzle, they came together like pieces of a puzzle, and suddenly you had a complete different picture or an idea in your mind about how things are and how things should be. If you find some of these key moments, the awareness of elements coming together from these key moments, not the moment themselves, but the awareness of the elements came together. How can you take it? How else can you take it in different moments in your life, in different areas in your life, in different things you want to change, you want to move forward to, and flip the brain switches, the mind switches that are useful for you, that will help you go where you want to go in your life, where you dream to go, where you envision to go. That's what flipping the brain switches is all about. And if you recognize something in that you feel can move you forward, that kind of inspires you to make a change, I would love to know what this change is, how you feel inspired. Please let me know below by typing something. So I would love to hear your feedback and also learn from you as well. Would you do that? Thank you very much.